In the past, I bought quite a lot of retro gadgets. A lot of these were old school mobile phones and old school digital cameras. Now, what happens over time is obviously the batteries, they do deteriorate and they do stop working. And one of the routine tests that I tend to do on a yearly basis is just check that my batteries seem to be okay. So I don't have time to go through them all and charge them. Some of them probably aren't carrying much charge, and indeed with a lot of these kind of batteries, if you don't charge them, then they become impossible to recharge when you do want to use them. So one of my tests that I do is check whether or not they have started to expand. So that tends to be a good marker for the ones that you need to be a little bit more wary of and ones to throw out. Now, this is only covering obviously batteries that are external, so ones that you can kind of take out of the device. There's plenty of batteries in devices where they're kind of sealed and you can't get to them. And you've probably had experiences with old phones, particularly some old kind of Apple iPhones, Apple iPods as well, where they kind of expand because the battery is kind of almost popped inside, so it's expanded, and maybe the covers kind of come away from the phone or the iPod. So that's the time then obviously to either try to fix it by getting a replacement battery or just throw the thing away. So this is the test I'm going to show you what I actually do. So to this side there's a couple of batteries which seem to be fine, they don't spin. So this is a Nokia phone battery. This is some other battery, I think, from a camera. SLB, yeah, I think so, from a Samsung. Okay, so they're fine, so I'll move them to one side. I'm just going to show you now these spinning. So that's obviously destined for the bin. That one, etc, etc. So they all kind of spin. Some spin more than others. The ones that spin a little bit more are more bloated. Yeah, that one's not too bad, but it's on its way, I think. That one's spinning quite freely. Yeah. Oh, that's spinning a lot more on that side. So you can turn them over and you can kind of see where they're starting to bulge. Yeah. Some Olympus camera ones here. Now, you can obviously try to save some of these batteries, and what I would say is just be careful, because if you're using a sharp edge to try to open up any of these cases, then you always run the risk of puncturing the battery and maybe causing a nasty shock to yourself in terms of maybe a mini explosion. So what I would say is just be very wary, maybe only ever attempt to maybe refurbish a battery of one that you know is quite rare, quite hard to get hold of. And you know what you're kind of doing really. So I'd say for the most part, just sort of throw them away and so, just hope that you can get replacement batteries essentially. So for bigger batteries, you will probably stand a reasonable chance of refurbishing them yourself because they'd just be easier to work on. There'd be basically easily available replacement parts, a little bit like people who possibly repair their own kind of laptop batteries. So I would say maybe go for the ones that are more obvious in terms of being able to fix. Now, just show you, this one does come apart, and it's quite a good, it gives you an idea really of what's kind of sealed inside some of these batteries. So they've got their own charging and protection circuits on a lot of them, where you only see maybe a couple of sort of connections, so negative and positive. Often those ones are from older devices and they might have the charging circuit as part of the device. But for this one, it is external. So to actually find a replacement part for this battery, let's just open this up. And you can see either end of this battery is the negative or positive, yeah? And they've just been soldered on at either end. So to get a replacement for this, you'd have to determine which way around things are, and you would probably need to get a battery like this to kind of replace. And maybe it's a more common available one, I'm not sure. It's got some sort of markings on it there, but I'm not going to take it apart at the moment. So my advice really is not to bother trying to refurbish batteries. It just carries too much risk to yourself, maybe to someone else who gets hold of your device at a later date. You don't really want to cause any issues, particularly when things are on charge. So my advice is not to have a go at replacing these batteries, not this sort of Li-ion ones, but the ones where you know that they just have bigger cells inside. They are worth maybe exploring, but nothing smaller, I would suggest. Now, if you haven't got the original charger, then what you can do is get something like this. So these work off USB and they're intelligent battery chargers. It doesn't matter what way you insert the battery, so you can have it kind of upside down or up the right way, like this. What you need to do is just make sure that when you go to charge, one of these is on the minus and one is on the plus, so the negative and the positive. So these will switch depending on which way your battery is orientated, but it's a pretty good charger, this one, and I've used it quite a bit to get me through some of the tricky spots where I don't have the original charger for a device. So I think that just sums it up really. Just be careful with your batteries, always kind of keep them stored in a cool place when you're not using them. Ideally you do want to check them and just make sure that you're that they're not going to explode or anything. I've never had any explode, and I've had a lot of batteries. Well, what I mean is I've never had a fire from a battery that's exploded, but I have had batteries that have kind of popped and they've pushed out the either the phone or I think in one of my old digital cameras it kind of got lodged in. I couldn't get the battery back out very easily, so that's just something to be wary of. I would, before attempting to do any of my own sort of fixings, check online and see if the battery is something that is just hard to get. That sums it up really. Thank you for watching this video. Please can you like and subscribe? I'll do some more videos in the future. Bye for now.